Hey, so this is the book I am reviewing it. This was gifted by my friend. So, how this is a secret and a guiding principle from the Korea. Enu Hong is the author of this book. You can see Enu Hong's beautiful picture right there. So, Nunchi is pronounced as noon-chee. The author, she's written three more books, and you can see how the rise of South Korea and K-pop star and the Gangnam Style. I'm sure you would have heard of Gangnam Style. So there's a secret of why South Korea as a country has progressed, and the credit goes to Nunchi. So Nunchi, in very common parlance, you can think of a way of life for every South Korean. Nunchi, try and understand, is also gauging others' thoughts and feelings. Now, imagine if you get the power to gauge other thoughts and feelings, and eventually then leads to building trust, building connection, and building harmony. And when these three are there, then everything's fall in place, whether it is relationship or a deal about business or just having fun in among friends and so on and so forth. Try and also visualize use of nunchi. So nunchi is about you step into a room. Now, how do you gauge others' thoughts and feeling, and what things which you have to keep in mind? So everything is books revolved around a plot sort of. You are getting into a room, and how do you gauge others' thoughts and feelings? So what are those rules which you have to follow? So this is my pick, and I was looking for. I always look for practical application of book and how I can learn. So this is my pick from the book. While you can go through the entire book, so there are 8 clear rules of nunchi. The author also talked about that your nunchi is quick nunchi or slow nunchi, means how fast your nunchi is. So nunchi is like your ability to gauge other thoughts and feeling, how quick you are, how fast you are. So starting one, first rule, empty your mind. Very simple. If you are getting into any room, we go with this preconceived notion, or there's some thought process going around, some working which you have got, and you're going with that thought process. So the first rule of nunchi, and which in fact Bruce Lee also talks about, is empty your cup. So if cup is already full, and then something won't go inside it, it will only overflow. So the first rule of nunchi is, you are stepping into a room, is empty your mind. Now this is an art. So in fact, I remember my days of working on myself, and I would prepare myself to clear the clutter or the thoughts which are going in the mind before I step into my home, because there is a fresh contact, there is fresh, I need to find connection with them. Second, be aware of the Nunchi Observer Effect. So, my learning out of this, and the way I connect this, is that we carry certain energy, and a lot of people don't have sense of their own energy, sense of their own presence. We change the dynamic and change energy of that place. I'm sure all of you have some leader or some relative whom you can recall, and that person, as soon as the person steps into the hall or that room, the dynamic changes. So how you get aware that whether you speak or not speak, the dynamic changes. The third thing is, if you've just arrived in the room, remember that everyone was there longer. So there is something was going on. There was some energy, some context going around. So don't try and disrupt it. There is something already going on, even and how do you go with that awareness? Just so that just don't go and start your drama or shout around or do something crazy. There's something already happening there, and you are just stepping. It's like water is flowing there, and you are just stepping in there. So already there's some action happening in the room. Oh, this is fantastic. This is a great rule for especially people who have a gift of gab, and they speak a lot, and they think speaking is powerful. Speaking is not powerful. Um, there's always opportunities of shutting up a mouth, even though if you're tempted to speak, like I was one of those who would speak without sense a lot of time, and that is not leading me build connections and build trust and harmony among those people whom I'm meeting. So you have to, when you are there alive and you have a good nunchi, you know where you need to shut up, because that this opens so much of new information, new things which you can always pick up from the room. So learn to shut up, and especially for people who speak a lot, this rule can really benefit even when you're getting into any corporate meeting or team meeting or any room. Learn to just shut up and feel the dynamics. Rule number 5: manners exist for a reason. And in fact, the Uni Hong, the author, when she was growing up in Korea, once she showed disrespect to one of the relatives, and she was warned by her father. And she said, so what's wrong? No, well, manners are very important. And this reminds me of whenever I go and dine in Taj a lot of time with my son Jap, and he always, because when I'm eating at times and I'm making noises, my son always then say, just be aware, you got to have good manners. So manners exist for a reason. Some people think that manners are superficial. Not necessarily, but very simple, using people by their first name, or thanking people, or request using word like please. That really enhance your Nunchi. It builds connection with the people around. So manners exist for a reason. They're definitely not superficial, artificial. Some people don't, have good manners in public spaces, and they indirectly then offend people or unable to build that connection. Now, this is special. Read between the lines can be theoretically slightly complicated, but let me simplify it. So we can always make judgment through half truth. Like if you can see this beautiful picture, if you are somewhere in this picture, which is the near the trunk, or if you're holding this, you can assume this is like a rope or something. This is one way of looking at it. The other way is try and understand the context. What is the context? The context matter. And so even though if person is, so some people are very poor communicators. They don't know how to communicate their need, idea, and concerns. And if you are a good Nunchi, you can just pick up like this. And I had very bad Nunchi before my change started. This is 21st September 2015. Midway in the INSEAD program, discovered that I'm stuck, I'm a zombie, and my Nunchi is poor. And since then, I started working on my Nunchi. And now I try and understand the context. And some people have very poor Nunchi. They go there and they just try to throw their idea, throw their perspective. I'm sure we have seen bosses, people, talent, everything go waste if you really do not speak with the context, or your inability to read the context, which means you have a poor Nunchi. This is very simple, and I'm sure all of us have made errors in our life, and at times these were more with me, and all this is unintentional. We go out and hurt someone unintentional, or do things and say things unintentionally. But even hurt is hurt, whether it is, in fact, author was smiling. He say, once my dad wants me, that if it is, she said, with this relative, I was unintentional. Then his dad replied to Uni Hong that that's even worse. You did not have a goal and a plan. If it was intentional, it's appreciated. If it was not intentional, then it's worse. So even though so how Nunchi is about doing things intentionally, you do it, you're more conscious and alive. And this is the last rule, which is be nimble, be quick, and how you adopt to situations. This reminds me of my college days and MBA days, and my Nunchi was very poor. I was struggling to adopt in social dynamics. I was into my own zone, and I remember my friend Abhishek Rajukar had fantastic Nunchi. He would adopt. So if there's a party going around, he would dance with people. If there is some serious discussion happening around, he'll give his thought process and do a value addition, be empathetic with people. So how you quickly adopt in that room along with those people, this is the 8 rules. So these are the real gems, I would say. These are like 8 ratna, which I picked up from this book. Otherwise, the overall book is so fascinating and beautiful, and it's sort of a reinforcement to what I'm already practicing it. So this really helped. So this is it. Thank you so much.